Hi guys, this is my channel about home brewing, and today we're going to do a grain to glass video of how I brew this Coconut New England IPA. So we're going to have a look at the brew footage and also double dry hopping, first one in the fermenter and the second one in the keg. So you can see my method of keg hopping as well. And in the end, of course, we're going to come back, taste the beer and have a look at the recipe. So hang on. Okay, grain bill. 2 kilos of Pilsner malt, 2 kilos of wheat malt. We have 250 grams of dextrin malt and 160 grams of acid malt. Also gonna add 500 grams of flaked oats and rice hulls, because this is gonna be a sticky mess. Okay, water is up to temp. Water is 69C. I'm gonna start this mash at 65C. I think that will be appropriate. Maybe it will take it down to 64, something like that. But it will heat up anyway. Set the wattage to 500 watts. So today I'm gonna add a lot of rice hulls into this, because this can be a real sticky mess. Here are the oats. Mix this up good. Let's add some more grains. Some more rice hulls. And some more oats. I'm gonna give this a really good stir after everything is added. Then, as usual, come back in about 15 minutes to take the pH and give it a last stir. I'll let it sit for about an hour. Maybe do a 75 minutes mash. Might go longer. Thought I should do some shopping meanwhile mashing. So I hope I don't get a stuck mash if I'm not at home. That could be an issue with the pump. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna stir this up now really good and start the circulation. pH is 5.6. I've added 1 milliliter of lactic acid. See what happens. 1 milliliter of lactic acid took me down from 5.6 to 5.5, which in the zone, but I'm gonna add 2 more milliliters. Okay, that took us down to 5.4, which is totally fine. Can add some more, but just for experiment I might do it. Okay, thanks to the rice hulls I have no issues at all. No stuck mash. It's time to raise up the temp now for a mash out. I'm gonna set this to 80 and monitor it. I'm aiming for like 75, 76-ish Celsius, that is. 1800 watts. I know it says 800, but it's 1800. I adjusted the sparge water to 6 or near 6.1. I'm in a little bit of hurry, so I have to speed things up. So I adjusted the recipe. I'm gonna do a 50-minute boil instead of 60 minutes as I usually do. I'm gonna steep less time also to speed things along quickly. I'm thinking like 50-minute boil, adding the flame out hops hot, then cool it down instead of cooling it down before, so I will get some bitterness from the flame out hops. Also gonna do an addition at 10 minutes. And that will leave me with some more wort and less gravity. So we should take a pre-boil, really. Yeah, let's do that. And get this gray foam off there. Okay guys, it's time to taste the starter. I've poured some off, decanted the rest, just leaving some behind to swirl up the yeast with. Was about 2 liter starter, harvested like 2 deciliters of it. So here's the sample. Smells nice. And this is at room temp. Yeah, it's a little bread, some fruit. This is the WLP644, by the way. It's a yeast which can handle a lot of heat, so it works fantastic with my heat fermenting system, let's call it that. If you haven't watched that video, please do. I will try to remember to put the link down below or make after credit or something. Cheers. And as usual, always taste your starter. This is the time when you can choose to use it or not to use it. Always have dry yeast at home if the starter turned out no go. But this one should produce us a good beer. Cheers. Pre-boil 1040. And we're just gonna boil this for 50 minutes. So that means we're gonna get a lower ABV beer. Good for the summer. So I'm fine with that. Gonna adjust my hops accordingly. We are at the hot break. That's an airplane. Okay, gonna keep stirring so we don't get a messy boil over. It will soon be over. So just a short 15-minute boil. Once I'm over the hot break, I'm gonna start the clock. I always start my timer after the hot break. I'm gonna add the water chiller, my DIY whirlpool arm. Have a look at that video as well. Try to link to it. And we're gonna need the hop spider as well today for the coconuts. Have I said that I'm gonna use coconut? Yeah, I am. I think the coconut will work with the yeast and the hops. I'm not aiming for a coconut bomb, just a hint of it. The yeast can throw some pineapple. I'm gonna get some fruits from the hops and some coconut from the coconut, hopefully. Okay, seems like the hot break now is over. So let's start our timer. 15 minutes. Go. So everything is in. Of course, that chilled down the wort. Gonna come to boil again shortly before our first edition. We have been boiling for 1.5 minutes, and first edition at 10 minutes to flame out. Ain't using any finings today, but as always, some yeast nutrient. It's also time to add the pump again. Have to be careful. So much wort in here, so it can have a little boil over when I add the pump. 11 minutes left. I boiled for 4 minutes. Okay, I missed my mark with 1 minute. In goes 50 grams of cascade at 9 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Okay, ain't using the spider. The spider is for the coconut. So I'm starting to hook up the pump now. Have to watch for boil overs. It actually became a very stressful brew day when I have to short everything down. Hope the beer will be fantastic as a compensation. Of course it will. Okay. My whirlpool device works fantastic, but it's not the most convenient. This was a prototype, so I'm gonna do a better model, still keeping it simple. It's the same as the 1.0 version, but I'm gonna do some mods to it so it will work better. Not work better, but be more practical. Okay, we are 6 minutes left before flame out. We're gonna add some flame out hops, and we're gonna add 100 grams of coconut. So let's measure that up. Okay, we are at flame out. I've been circulating hot water for a few minutes. So flame out. In goes maybe not. In goes 100 grams of Simcoe and also 100 grams of Citra. Let's get the coconut. And 100 grams of coconut, and the coconut goes into the hop spider. Maybe we should give that a stir while everything is hot. So I'm gonna start chill this immediately while whirlpooling down to 65. Hold it for 50 minutes because I'm in a rush. Normally I'm not when brewing, but today I am. I'm going to the movies, okay? Let's start the cooling. Okay, exercise done for today. So we're at about 10:44. Okay, time is out. Still at 61. Let's start cooling again. Yep, cooling is on. We're down to 23, 24 degrees. Not super cold, but we are gonna hot ferment this, and it's hot inside the room. So I think it's actually like 26 in the room, so this will do fine. Could I wait longer? It's more like 23. But I'm in hurry today, as I mentioned before. Off to the movies. Off to the cinema. What do you guys call it? Movie, cinema. In Sweden we call it bio. Biograph. Let's see how much wort I have today. It's more like 25 liters maybe, when we just did a 50-minute boil. Today I'm gonna be picky and pitch the yeast before I oxygenate it. the way you should do it actually. It gets aerated this way, of course, but I could have added the yeast earlier. Maybe I should have done that. We ended up with about 24.5 liters. I'm gonna add the yeast. So maybe that will take us up to like 25. Okay, let's pitch it. And now it's officially beer. Let's get some oxygen in there. Giving the beer now, because the yeast is added, giving the beer a 1 minute blast of oxygen. Very slow flow. Beer is in, yeast is in, oxygen is in. We're about 25 liters. Didn't find the hat for the airlock. Temperature probe are insulated. We're placed on the heat mat on the insulation. We're still balancing out the system. The probe is still, temperature is still dropping. So we're gonna set that for the lowest temperature. I'm gonna put a plastic bag on it and a couple of blankets to insulate it. And of course to protect it from the light. 10:43. And that's the power of whirlpooling. Everything compact in a cone in the middle. It's now 23 hours in, it's going like crazy, 28 degrees. So it's time for the first dry hopping, the biotransfer dry hops. We will be dry hopping with 50 grams of Citra, 50 grams of Simcoe and 25 grams of Mosaic. This is the perfect time to dry hop. Try to put it there for camera reasons. Okay, in goes the hops. So it's very active now. All of the oxygen we add now will be scrubbed off, because as you saw, this was very active. So that was the first dry hopping. Next time we dry hop will be when there's not as much activity. And always when adding dry hop we will see some more activity, because that's the degassing of the beer, but as you saw it was very active before as well. Okay, dry hopping phase 1 is done. So the next dry hopping is for more of a aroma, because quite a bit of the aroma will be driven off by the active fermentation. So next time we dry hop we will do it when it's a little bit slower, when we are at the end of fermentation. It's important to not wait too long though. So we need the active fermentation to drive off any oxygen. The coconut goes into the oven just to be sanitized. They are already toasted. Could have toasted them myself, I would have preferred that, but these were the ones I found. So set the oven for 200 degrees Celsius. Just thinking I will need a couple of minutes really, not much. With double paper here, then we can just take this paper and toss it into the keg. Smells good. Okay guys, we are on day 2 here. Fermentation has stopped rapidly, as you can see. Dry hopped yesterday on day 1, the biotransfer dry hop. So now it's time for the second dry hop. And we will also add the coconut. I've placed the coconut on a tray, double papered. So this is just going into the oven for 200 degrees Celsius for just a little while, a few minutes. Here, this is just for sanitizing it. It's already roasted. I would have preferred to roast it myself, but that was the coconut flakes I found. So let's try to do this on camera. We're gonna keg hop today with 50 grams of Citra, 50 grams of Simcoe and 25 grams of Mosaic. Going straight in the keg. If you're gonna do this, you will need either put the hops in something or you will need some kind of filter. I will show you in another video the filter set up for this. But this is more about the beer. We can go in further on another day. Okay, so let's add the hops. 25 grams of Mosaic. 50 grams of Citra going in. It's now when I should have rigged up a second camera, isn't it? Yeah. And 50 grams of Simcoe going in, but I'm just dumping them in the keg. Okay, I will show you the last one. I will be nice. I just have a sanitized piece of foil here so nothing gets in. Let's get you back up. A cheap soda stream machine is necessary, in my opinion. I use it a lot for brewing. Something cheap, doesn't have to be expensive. Sanitized hose goes into the keg. Into the sanitized keg. Down in the bottom. Just gonna hook it up there for now. Okay, so I keg in different ways. This is the way I'm gonna do it today, but this ain't so much about kegging. So I didn't rig up for filming. This is a grain to glass video. So what you want to do is to... No, but before that, I forgot. We have to add the coconut. You put the beer in the coconut. Or the coconut in the beer. Where's my glove? Okay, so they're actually smelling a little bit more now, which I'm just gonna put them all in. They go in hot. They will cool down immediately when the beer hits them. Okay. So we can start by taking a sample. Dump that. That as well. Oops, nearly forgot to pull out the airlock. Smells yeasty and hoppy. So this is what you want to do before. So let me show you this. Okay, let's flush out the keg and the hose with CO2. Hope you see smoke coming out. Yeah, you do. That's CO2. And that chilled down the coconut. Okay, let's start bracking. So the beer aren't fermented out, so it's gonna continue to ferment in the keg while we dry hop the second time. It's nearly fermented out. We can measure that as well, and this method will scrub the oxygen that we added during the transfer. Even if I'm trying to get as less as possible, we always introduce the oxygen when we transfer. The beer will continue to ferment in here, and this will also carb up the beer. Okay, getting close here. You want to stop before we hit the gas line, the gas out tube. Okay, we're there. Gonna pull that out. It's really nasty in there. I won't show you because I want to put the lid on as quickly as possible. But there, hops and coconut floating. Okay, so lid is on. Now what you want to do is to try to get rid of the air in there. You should set this to 1 bar. Push it on, turn it off. So we hope that we have got rid of most of the oxygen air in there. Set this to 2 bars. We can put a spinning valve on here now. So just to be sure, but the keg handles a lot of pressure. But we could put a spinning valve on there. Every now and then I will flip the keg, so the hops keep in motion. When you are hopping under pressure, the hops tend to fall down to the bottom. So I will flip it upside down even now and then. I'm gonna let it sit hot for about 3 days. I don't want it to cool down actually, so I will try to keep this over 29 degrees Celsius. This is a yeast strain that tolerates a lot of heat, so I wouldn't do this with every yeast. So the idea is to put the heat mat on here with some tape. Yes, it will fit around the keg, so I put it on here using tape. I've been asked what kind of heat mat I use. I don't think it's that necessary to have the exact same, but I will, as with the other stuff, try to see if I find something that I would dare to recommend, I would think work. And if I find it, I will put a link down below as well. I have this heat mat, the same. I have one for when I want to heat up my starter. I have one in my fermentation fridge. And one for this heating system. Okay, let me show you. So it's taped to the side. Now we just need to insulate it. And yeah, we're gonna tape the probe also on the other side here. Okay, probe is there. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, the probe is under pad. Now let's insulate it. So I will use this, it's called the Spandit and the thermometer. I have not bought this, I've got this from the manufacturer. So I'm testing it out, gonna do a review on it. I'll put a link to it down below. So Starsan, sorry for turning you the back. Push it on there and see what happens. Okay, we're not at 2 anymore, gonna put some more pressure on. There's a little meter here on the Spandit. Gonna try to show you in close up shortly. Push some more pressure on there. Guess some of it got in the beer. Okay, so let's push on the Spandit again. Yeah, 2 bars now. When I moved it, some of the carbon dioxide got into the beer. So it's gonna set this to when it stops. This is a quite cool feature to be able to read. So it stops there. So we can read the fermentation. The only thing is when I want to flip this, I have to remove the Spandit or stand it on something. I guess I could just, I will put 2 pieces of wood or something like that here so I can flip it. We're up to 29. So I'm gonna push it now even further for the dry hopping. I'm gonna try to push it up, let's see, to 30 to start with. Let me show you the Spandit. It goes out into the thermometer. And when, I can show you, when gas escapes, it will start to bubble like that. But for now, turn it off. I've set it to 2 bars. And the heating mat will try to push this up to 30. And tomorrow I will push it up to 31, then 32, something like that, to really get the most out of the hops. And also I will flip it most likely 2 times a day. Not today, so I'm going to do it tomorrow, or maybe I will tonight. Okay, let's take a gravity reading. We're at 10, 11. So should we sample this? Yeah, it's a really hop burn. And I just added a ton lot of more hops, but it will get hoppy, that's for sure. I guess I see you at the tasting. Cheers. As you see, put some insulation on top as well here, a pillow. But as you see, the insulation works. We're almost up to 30 now. So that's cool, first try. Okay guys, that was the brew footage. And here are the results. It's quite much lighter in actual real life than you see it on the camera. It's more, what do you think of, a lemonade color to it. The head died down quite fast. It's a white head. So I wanted to make the beer quite light to resemble the coconut flavor, which is might have in it. Okay, let's give it a nose. Yeah, you get the hops. It's fruity, tropical fruit, like pineapple. Can't really say I can pick up the coconut. More of a hops, tropical hops. Yeah, okay, let's dive in. This has been sitting now in the keg for quite a while. Still very fresh and hoppy. At first it was a little hop burny. You saw that in the video, but after kegging as well. But after conditioning for like a month, this has come out really great. You do get some coconut in the flavor, not so much in the aroma, but in the flavor you have coconut. It's quite of a dry beer, but still there's some hints of sweetness there. So the bitterness is not overpowering anything. So it's kind of well balanced beer. And you get the pineapple, some funkiness from the WP644. Not much, but it throws off a pineapple and a little bit of funk, but yeah, not much. It's a really interesting yeast. You should really give that a go. As you saw, it can tolerate a lot of heat. Yeah, you get the tropical fruitiness from the hops, like in an ordinary New England IPA. I don't know why I said ordinary. In a common New England IPA. With a hint of coconut. I decided to not add too much coconut because I didn't want the coconut to overpower the beer, and it didn't. I could have added even more. I added 100 gram flame out, 100 gram in the keg. So maybe I should do 150 if I do it again. Yeah, but it turned out a nice beer. It's still hoppy aroma wise, but it needed some time in the keg to get that hop burn out. But it turned out nice, good summer beer. So guys, let's go through the recipe. The recipe is already on the Patreon site. I promised you guys a long time ago, so it's up there already. You can go and check it out. I used 2 kilos of Pilsner, 2 kilos of wheat, 500 grams of flaked oats, 250 grams of Cara pills, 160 grams of acid malt. I should have added some more because I had to adjust the pH even further. All of the acid malt and the lactic acid I added, it depends on your water's pH and your water's alkalinity. So you can't take my word for those numbers. I added 50 grams of Cascade at flame out together with 100 grams of toasted coconut, and took it down to 65 and 100 grams of Citra, 100 grams of Cinco, let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, something like that, before I start chilling again. Then I dried hop after 23 hours with 50 grams of Citra, 50 grams of Simcoe, and 25 grams of Mosaic. I kegged it on day 2 and added 100 grams of coconut, 50 grams of Citra, 50 grams of Simcoe, 25 grams of Mosaic. There were also some yeast in there, of course. There was the Brettanomyces bruxellensis Trois White Labs WP644, and I also added some yeast nutrient. Didn't use any finings in this because I wanted it to be hazy. So guys, there you had the beer, you had the brew day, the dry hopping, and there you got the recipe. So guys, give the recipe a try and let me know what you think. So cheers guys, thanks for watching, DrHans out.